pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Little tiny
Okay, welcome all. We have one council member participating by phone. Everybody else is here. We'll go with item 2. Stanley Landis. Mr. Phillips.
Yes, we had an executive session this evening at 6:45 p.m. The topics were legal and personnel.
Item 3, the approval of the minutes. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
A second.
Seconded. Any discussion with council?
I got something.
Hi, Mr. President, I have a question.
Hold on, Stan.
Okay.
The mayor first.
Cal, under the mayor's section, you have, you wrote that I read the resignation letter from a police officer. We've had more than one resign, and I think it'd be a good idea to put his name in there to reflect, so it reflects his name, so we're not, no confusion.
Oh, it's Cole.
Cole, yeah.
Good idea, will do.
Thank you. Okay, Stan. Go ahead.
Under new business, paragraph D, the second paragraph under that. This is a motion by Ms. Megan Sell to appoint Bernie Reiner to the Planning Commission, seconded by me, as an alternate member of the Zoning Hearing Board, seconded by President Sell. I'm a little confused on what that motion is now.
I see, yeah. No, that was a copy and paste issue. I'll fix that.
Okay, all right.
So would you please read out what it's going to be in a minute then?
Yeah, no, it will be motion by Ms. Megan Sell to appoint Bernie Reiner to the Planning Commission, seconded by Vice President Landis. Motion passed 6-1.
Yeah.
The rest is, yep, good catch, Stan, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I just thought, sorry.
I can have a red pen.
So there's 2 changes. You want to amend your motion to changes?
I'll amend the motion with the changes included.
Second.
Anybody from the audience? Yes, ma'am?
Oh, okay.
Nothing? A roll call, please.
Carlson,
Yes.
Landis,
Yeah,
Reinbold,
Yes.
Hutchison,
Yes.
Megan Sell,
Yes.
Lynette Sell,
Yes.
Asherman. Motion passes 7-0.
Can we move on to financial reports? Item A, Treasurer's Report from June 2026. I'll ask you, Borough Manager, is that accurate? I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay. Anybody from the audience? Yes, yeah, please.
Karen Bilger, 975 Vine Street. I just have 2 questions. It's the same question for both our line items. The first line item is Nutropoli Bank. It's for $77,586.67. What's that loan for?
There was and this will come up in the B as well. In 2018, it was a $3 million loan. So that amount comes out of general fund and the rest of it comes out of the sewer fund.
For what? Oh, from sewer, for sewer.
Yeah, there was I believe there was a mix of projects back in 2018 that they took a $3 million loan out. The interest rate is so low, it's like 2.5%, that the money in the bank is making more than the loan interest,
I
so
understand that.
they chose not to pay
Yeah,
it.
I was just curious what it was. And the second one is the same question with Nutropoli Bank. It's a loan for $327,213.33. Is that combined? That's the same?
Same loan, two different funds.
Okay, thank you.
Carl, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
This is under, bills paid,
We're not,
general fund, page 3.
we're not there yet.
Oh, okay, sorry.
That's okay. Anybody else? Roll call.
Landis,
Yes.
Reinbold,
Yes.
Hutchison, Megan Sell,
Yes.
Lynette Sell, Ashelman, Carl Sell.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay, item B, approval, paid bills, detailed report, the amount of, anybody want to make a, no?
Mr. President, I'm putting a motion on the floor, pay the bills of $696,226.39.
I'll second.
Counselor, something you want to call out on these, it's a little higher number than we're used to seeing.
Yeah, so this is 3 weeks worth of bookkeeper because our bookkeeper was on vacation. So the last meeting, there was nothing. So this is 2 meetings worth essentially. And in addition, what Ms. Bilger mentioned about the loan, over $400,000 of this was one loan payment. It's an annual payment. We have 2 more years left. It'll be paid off in 2028. Additionally, there was a whitetail disposal refuse and recycling bill, which is larger, and there was also a Lehigh County Authority sewer bill. Those are over $100,000 combined, so 3 bills made up most of this number.
Thank you. Stan, did you have a question about the bill?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Page 3, PPL electric utilities. Is this for the traffic lights? There's 5 addresses listed there.
That's a street light, isn't it?
So, yeah, summer lights, one is here at the Macungie Institute, one is Borough Hall,
Right.
one is the Public Works Building, but 2 of the others are traffic lights.
Traffic lights. Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else on council? Anybody from the public? Yes, sir?
Tim Romick, business owner. My question's on the paid bills for the general fund on page 2. There's one for McFarland Lamb for $5,778. It says police matters. What does that exactly mean?
That's the labor attorney.
Okay, so that's the labor attorney dealing with the police lawsuit?
Any police matters, could be collective bargaining, it could be anything.
Going down a little bit farther on the same page, Dennehy Marshall, there's 2 invoices there that total $15,090. It says Sell versus Borough. Is that the mayor's bills or the borough's bills?
That's the borough's bill.
And that lawsuit is still ongoing, correct? On page 4 of the profit and loss budget versus actual, is it correct in reading that we budgeted $75,000 for legal bills this year, and that we're already over 100,000? So we're 25,000 and change over budget?
This is accurate.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Roll call.
Reinbold,
Yes.
Hutchison, Megan Sell,
Yes.
Lynette Sell,
Yes.
Ashelman, Carl Sell,
Yes.
Landis.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Correspondence. We don't have anything on correspondence. We'll move to item 6, reports. Start with council. Does anybody on council have anything they'd like to bring up?
I do. I wrote some stuff down I'd like to talk about. Okay, I was curious about some things involving the fire department. I thought maybe Mr. Roman could elaborate on some of them when he makes his presentation. Like, what qualifications do the members have? And 2 homes burned in Macungie while Tim Keller was president and Tom Bailey was treasurer, yet they both are in those same positions. Is there a reason for that? And when the last fire department went went belly up, Lehigh County Emergency Dispatch warned the borough how dire our situation was. Fortunately, we were lucky enough to have Lower Macungie Fire Service step in. They have assessed structures, access roads, and inspected all hydrants. They have plans in place so Macungie can be serviced from any of their fire stations. They also meet standards of the State Auditor General's Office. We are also provided with annual reports. To date, Mr. Romick has not provided council with any financial audits with regards to taxpayer dollars. Council has not been provided meeting minutes. Certain council members have repeatedly been attacked by volunteers of the fire company, which I unfortunately got to see last week after this council meeting was over. Mr. Dennis Fritz attacked Mr. Hutchinson right in front of the building, which I found vile and disgusting. You continue to say you are solvent. I believe you sold equipment that the taxpayers paid for to achieve this, and now you're going to purchase various items again, like turnout suits, radios, apparatus costing hundreds of thousands of dollars at the taxpayers' expense again. Finally, there has been no attempt made to show the Borough Council where the fire company stands with training and funding, and I think we are owed that if we want to move forward with our volunteer fire company.
Thank you. Anybody else on council?
I would like to add something what she just said. Mr. Karbowski, everybody else but Mr. Karbowski. He's a guy that went to 9/11. He's a guy that said when Macungie gets dispatched, please send Lower Macungie. So Ron put that on his shoulders. So now you're covered quite well.
Greg? This is council, please. This is council. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. I have a question for the mayor. Is there a way to get a traffic study on North Buttonwood Street, because it was brought up by residents about speeding on that road? Can the police set up that speed monitoring device they have just to see exactly what the speeds are that people are going on that little stretch of road?
I'll check.
Okay,
There might even have been one.
because I know we have the machine to do it. It was parked out in front of my house last year.
Yeah.
So if they can just set it up there, because that'll give people who are coming down North Buttonwood Street an idea of how fast they're going as opposed to the actual, the speed on the machine. And I also have a question for Cal about speed limit signs on North Chestnut, North Walnut, was it South Church? I think there's speed limit signs that are missing. We talked about that before. So what's the status of those?
I talked to the engineer about that. He has the list.
Okay, great, thank you.
What signs are missing on North Walnut?
The speed limit coming in?
Where, down at Hilligan's Garage or?
I think so, yeah. Because I don't think there's any down there.
Okay, thank you.
And I know on North Chestnut on my street, there's none. Once you get past Queens, and that's 45 out there, as soon as you hit the borough limits, there's no sign. It's gone. It's been gone for a couple of years now. And it's 35.
Where's the line? For Lower Macungie on North Walnut?
Where the sidewalks stop, right, where River's Garage, now EMI owns it right there.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, that's it for me. Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else on council? And Mayor, it's your turn for your reports.
All right, Macungie Memorial Park between now and the next meeting has a food truck in the park on Wednesdays, August 5th and 12th. Of course, the farmer's market is on Thursdays, 4 to 7. We have a cruise night Saturday, August 15th. And then the 50th annual First PA Mustang Show on Sunday, August 16th, also held on the same day as an outdoor craft show. That's all I got. All in the park.
All right. I have a question for you. I know I've asked numerous times. Did you ever get us any information on?
I did put a thing in place, but we don't have an administrator right now.
so we don't have an administrator,
Travis is the one that does
Okay,
the
so-
reports, and he's not in.
but we have somebody to charge, don't we?
We do.
Can't he do it?
I'm not sure he knows how to use the system.
Okay, thank you. Solicitor, do you have anything for us right now?
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Borough manager?
I have just a couple of things. Last meeting, we had discussions on the ADA ramp. The bid package was put together by Barry Izett and Associates. It's being advertised this week. And we expect to have bid results back by the end of the month, and we'll be at the first council meeting in September with those bid results for potential awarding. Along the same lines, the borough engineer and myself did a survey of all the bump outs along Route 100 last week, and he's been gathering the data from when they were first put in, and we'll be coming back with a full report, kind of like the ADA ramps, at a future meeting to discuss what the options are for the bump outs. The seal coating was completed here at the MI and at Borough Hall. Hovan did a great job. Public Works did the line striping the end of last week, and today actually they finished up at Borough Hall. And finally, a really big thank you, great work by our crew on South Buttonwood Street for the full repaving. A couple weeks ago with assistance by Albertus Borough, Upper Milford Township, and Lower Macungie Township. These four municipalities, we all work together and assist each other in our projects. And without all of their help, it would not have only taken, I think it was 7 days to do the entire thing. So that was all done, and I'll be sending a thank you letter out on behalf of the borough to each of those municipalities.
Yes, please.
That's all I have.
Can I ask a question? Do we have any other paving projects coming up this year at all?
Yes, Locust Street.
Do Lowe's?
Yes, we're gonna do Locust. Originally, it was on the plans to do South Walnut, but because the contractor's getting in there now, Locust is about the same amount of material as Walnut would be. So it's a good trade.
So they're gonna mill it and then reform it.
Yes.
Can I ask, is Race Street on that list at all in the near future?
I believe it is on the near future list, yeah.
Yeah,
Mr.
well, I'm sure I'm
Manager.
asking that.
Would it be possible, in the past, we used to have a street list of what's coming up and different years. If we could have that and just take a look-see, and we could call and we could get our
Yeah, right,
answers.
right. Okay. Okay. Unfinished business, we have none. New business, authorization to participate in the LVCP janitorial supplies contract. Al, I'll leave that to you.
I'll take that. So the borough, as well as all the other municipalities in Lehigh and Northampton County, are part of the Lehigh Valley Cooperative Purchasing Council. And the group essentially does bids for services. In the past, they've done an annual road salt bid, which is an alternative to the statewide contract. And sometimes the local contract comes in a little bit cheaper. They also do it for fuel. If you have fuel if you have fuel tanks in your municipality, you can purchase fuel through them. And what it does is they provide a larger purchasing cooperative to get good bids from companies. They're starting off with a janitorial supplies contract. And the initial ask, as their letter indicates, is just our interest. And we would supply about the quantities that we would need in a year. They group all the municipalities up together, they put out a bid, and they get bids from any janitorial supply company that wants to put it in, and then they would award the bid to the lowest bidder, and then each municipality has to award the bid as well. So it would come back, if we choose to participate, which I am recommending we do, because this will ultimately save taxpayer dollars, it will come back to a future meeting to actually award the bid.
Where do we get this stuff done?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
Now,
Where are we getting this stuff done?
We are on our own, so we get it from, there's a local place in town, Master Supply, which of course can definitely put in a bid for this entire contract or other small, but currently we basically pay MSRP on our own.
Everything that we bid, we're gonna have to store. Where are we gonna store it? Just curious.
We currently do. So,
Okay, that's my question.
so should the bid go through,
Right.
you order from them as you need. You don't have to get everything in like upfront at the beginning of the year.
Well, you don't, so they warehouse.
Essentially, you're just guaranteeing your low price. And you just
Okay.
order it as you need it.
Okay.
Cal, did you say we are gonna ask Master Supply to put a bid in?
Well, they certainly can.
Like, okay.
Yeah, and it'll be open to anybody. It'll be advertised just like any other bid does.
Is this for all the janitorial supplies, police station here,
It would be for anything the borough uses.
everything in the borough?
Anybody from the audience? Any questions with that? Third row. Please come up to the microphone and speak and state your name.
Hi, there's several residents here from Lower Macungie Township, and we'd like a status report on the fields that.
We're speaking about a contract right now.
Pardon me?
We're speaking about a bid contract right now.
Defense contract?
What they're saying is that you would make this statement under public comment. That's all.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A little bit later.
Okay.
Little bit.
Sorry. Does anybody else from the public have something they want to say about this?
Jeff Harbin, 212 West Main Street. Yeah, so when they're bidding this contract, just for example, Master Supplies decides to bid, are they bidding for the entire package, for the entire
We have-
municipality?
Yes.
And so,
And that's the savings is in a big group purchase.
right, so whoever bids has to have the capacity or ability to supply.
Absolutely.
And is there some sort of assurance of that as part of the contract that guarantees or whatever?
Yeah, that's part of their bid package that the purchasing cooperative puts together. They have a solicitor that works on it. And like I said, they've been doing road salt and fuel deliveries for years. This is a new venture in janitorial supplies.
Good, thank you.
Saw somebody else had their hand up, or is it? No? Okay. Roll call.
Hutchison,
Yes.
Megan Sell,
Yes.
Lynette Sell,
Yes.
Ashelman, Carl Sell,
Yes.
Landis,
Yes.
Reinbold.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on our new business is item B, Macungie Volunteer Fire Department request for fire hydrant access.
I got something before Mr. Roman comes up, maybe it'll help.
Okay,
move
speaking
things
to
along.
speak to the mic, sure.
Maybe it'll help move things along here. So Borough Council changed Chapter 23 ordinance back in December 18th of 23 to make Lower Macungie our serving fire department. But you didn't change Chapter 337-21-B, or 337-21B, which is still in the books and gives the fire department, Macungie Volunteer Fire Department, the right to use the hydrants for any performance duties. So what stands out the most to me out of all of this is the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department is standing here and they're gonna ask for permission to use hydrants that they legally are allowed to use anyway by our own ordinance. They didn't come here demanding what was already right by law. That shows a little bit of respect on their end that they're not just going ahead and using the fire hydrant without asking. So I don't see where any of the question comes in legally by law. It's in our ordinance that they can use our hydrants for any performance duties, which includes training, firefighting, and so on. That's it. I mean, it's our ordinance that gives them the permission to do it.
Mr. Romick?
Thank you, good evening. Tim Romig, President, Macungie Volunteer Fire Department. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, that's gonna be one of the things that I brought up this evening. So, we went to the Water Authority based on the directions we were given to ask for access to the hydrants. Now, why did that happen? What made us do that? So as we were reestablishing the department for the last 3 years, we haven't used any water from the hydrants, just what we pay for through the faucets. That was all dictated to us based on a letter we received from Macungie Borough Manager John Brown last summer. And that letter stated that we are no longer the fire department, obviously, by the ruling you made to appoint Lower Macungie Township to be the sponsored fire department for this borough. And that letter was June 20th of 2025. And in the letter, it states that we're no longer serving the borough of Macungie, and therefore please cease using Macungie Borough's fire hydrants without securing the requisite approval from borough and/or borough authority. So at that point last year, you know, I actually brought this up before. I kind of overlooked it and just said, okay, we don't have the access to use the hydrants. So then this year we started talking about it with the borough again over the fact that you guys want to use some of our property for the Hickory Street Bridge for staging product and equipment. And we asked if you would reconsider, and your attorney told us no, you would not reconsider. But that prompted me to think a little farther, and I thought, well, I thought the Water Authority actually has the authority over the hydrants. So I contacted members of the authority, and that's what I was told. So I went to the authority, even though the authority never told us we couldn't use what was already our right to use. We've not been using any for 3 years. So we went to the authority, and I gave you guys a letter on July 6th at your places, which you guys put on correspondence at the last meeting, but I said I wanted to have it on as an agenda item, so now you have it attached as an agenda item, and I thank you for that. We also gave the same exact letter to the Water Authority, just addressing it to the Water Authority. So I'm sure everybody had that letter with their packets tonight. So there's a couple things I'm gonna talk about, because I asked Cal where they thought they found the authority for this borough council to have authority over the water and the hydrants. And he gave me those documents. Now, Cal, you gave me 2 different documents. Are those the only 2 documents that address this?
Again, Solicitor Armstrong's not here obviously this evening, but what the solicitor has stated is that between the borough ordinances and the management agreement, which delegates the running of the system to the borough, gives both the Water Authority and the borough authority over who uses the fire hydrants. That's what the solicitor stated.
So did you, I mean, you gave me those ordinances and the agreement. Does council have copies of that? So we can discuss that tonight?
They're not in front of them now, no.
Okay, I did make some copies. I'll hand the rest out to the audience. I don't have enough for everybody. But there's 2 critical pages. One is in the agreement with the Water Authority. You can take one and pass it on. I don't have enough folks to share. So that's one page out of the Water Authority agreement with the Borough of Macungie. So I'll also give you copies of the page from the ordinance. So our letter was dated to council and the Borough Water Authority of July 6th. And it's in reference to a request for reconsideration of denial of hydrant access for training purposes. I'm not gonna read the whole letter, but I'm gonna read some highlighted areas. The Macungie Volunteer Fire Department remains a legally existing organization committed to rebuilding its operational capabilities, training firefighters, and serving the community. The ability to conduct periodic hydrant operations, pumping evolutions, water supply training, and related certification exercises is essential to maintaining firefighting competency and obtaining necessary certifications. Denial of access to hydrants significantly impairs the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department's ability to train members, recruit firefighters, and continue its organizational development. Now, we fully admit that we are rebuilding this department. We have not made the claim that we are ready to go online yet. But that is what brought us here based on the letter denying us water access. To date, the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department has not been provided with a clear legal basis supporting the denial of hydrant access. Accordingly, Macungie Volunteer Fire Department requests that the Borough and Authority identify the specific ordinance, resolution, regulation, policy, or agreement relied upon in denying our hydrant access. 2, the governmental body or official that authorized the denial. The date on which such action was taken. Any public meeting, vote, or official action associated with the decision. And 5, whether similarly situated fire departments or emergency service organizations are permitted to access the hydrants for training purposes. Now, using water for training to be a fire department is pretty critical. It's also critical to recruitment when you interview guys that want to be firefighters. If we can't use water to practice, you're not very functional. Your practice running around with a dry hose is kind of irrelevant. Testing the aerials, practicing with the aerials, practicing with the pumper, practicing with the pump gun. All those things obviously are a necessity to fighting a fire, and if you can't train with water, you can't really train. So it not only affects the current membership and the ability to train and get additional certification, it affects the membership, people who would want to get involved. If you can't even practice with water, if you want to be a firefighter, why would you want to join the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department? It's self-defeating. What we're trying to do is rebuild a department that's been in this community since 1907. And yes, they had some bad eggs for a while. They're gone. And I don't know how many of you remember, because most of you are fairly new, other than Mr. Hutchinson. For 10 years, you can go research the minutes. For 10 years, from 2013 to 2023, I came before this council many, many times, telling you that you needed to step in or that company was gonna go under. And it basically did. And I identified the culprit, the chief, at that time. Nothing was done until it basically almost fell apart in December of 23, and they finally accepted his resignation. But for 10 years, I came before this council, you should know better than anyone, trying to get you guys to step in and do something to save that department. I'm not a firefighter. I'm not gonna be a firefighter. I only saw the need to keep a fire department in the center of our borough as an asset to this borough for the future. I'm a business owner. And other business owners have also joined with us because they see the same need. I believe a lot of the public would like to see us succeed. Right now, we're still trying to get back to the point of getting able to go on calls. And our next step would actually be, once we can start practicing the water, would to be go on mutual aid. So as I believe I stated earlier, we are actually a recognized entity by the state fire marshal, okay? So we don't have to be sponsored by a borough or a township to be an active fire department. So the next step that we were working towards, unfortunately, this sabotage seems to keep coming back at us. By going to the Water Authority, after I reconsidered that I didn't think this letter really had merit a year later, shame on me, we abided by the letter which I don't think was valid, went to the water authority and explained to the water authority that if we have trained members, and we do, and every department has a variation of training and trained members and certifications. If we have trained members, if our insurance is paid, not just our building and liability, but our workers' comp, and we've been paying it out of pocket ourselves, we're self-funded right now. A couple members, or specifically one sitting here tonight, went to other departments telling them that we didn't have workers' comp, which is not true. He also went to the water authority and told them the same thing, which is not true. We provided copies to those fire departments. Actually, they had them before he even told them that. So I don't know why the sabotage continues. We're asking that the sabotage stop. If you don't want to see the fire company ever come back into existence, and you don't want to assist in its training to try to get to that point, that's fine. That's your opinion. Not everybody has to be on board with that. But there's no reason, if you don't agree with it, that you need to continue to sabotage it. We're fighting the sabotage more than we're doing what we'd like to be doing, and that's training. When we went to the water authority and told them what I was about to tell you, that if we want to go back on the call box, you know, the boxes that they dispatch, first call, second call, third call, who the various departments would be getting the call on that call box, we can go back on those call boxes just by having letters of acceptance and need from surrounding fire companies, basically saying they will accept us as mutual aid. We were in the process of getting those letters when Mr. Hutchinson went to several of those companies and made a lot of derogatory comments about us. I know that because they called us. He then went to the water authority and told the water authority that these departments have no desire to work with us. They told us that's not true, and that's not what they said. Some of them didn't want to get into this legal battle, so they told us to hold off for a little bit as far as getting their letter. One department did provide a letter at that follow-up meeting at the authority, Woodlawn Fire Department. So we turned that letter in. Well, would you guess what happened next? Woodlawn Fire Department put in a letter that they'd be willing to work with us. One of the things we need to get back put on mutual aid, put back in the call boxes. Within a few days, the Lower Macungie Township manager called the South Whitehall Township manager, flipping out that your fire department needs to cease and desist working in any way with the Macungie Fire Department. Now, how do I know that's true? Because I called Barry Surge, the fire chief at Woodlawn Fire Department. Because they called us initially, didn't talk to me firsthand at that point, and it came to me through the membership, so I needed to get it firsthand from the chief. And he verified that is accurate. And at that point, the Lower Macungie Township manager was threatening the South Whitehall Township manager, and in turn threatening Woodlawn Fire Department with legality issues over the MOU agreement between the Borough of Macungie and the Lower Macungie Township Fire Department. Now, I have and read the MOU, and there is no way that the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department in any way, shape, or form, or any other fire department, can interfere in that MOU. It's simply a working agreement between the borough and the Lower Macungie Fire Department. But threatening them with legal action if they didn't cease and desist is just another attempt to stain our reputation and have people back away from helping us. The next step is water, so we can continue practicing, and 2 is getting the letters to accept mutual aid from the Borough of Macungie. You can check with the Pennsylvania Fire Commissioner and the Auditor General's office. What I'm telling you can be verified. That if we have the members, we have the certifications, that our trucks are inspected and certified for whatever apparatus they have, and they all are. And that we have proper insurance, liability, and workers' comp, which we do. And we have letters of acceptance for mutual aid, we can start going on calls. And I think some people don't want to ever see that happen. They've mentioned that to a lot of people. As a matter of fact, one official, who's no longer here,
but he has some people who feel the same. I know that you've been making the rounds. He went to Lower Macungie Township and he told Lower Macungie Township officials that as long as Romig, Bailey, Fritz, and Keller are involved at the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department, they're never ever gonna see a dime from this borough. That's sabotage. So we're here tonight, we don't really want to get into a fight. We haven't wanted a fight. All we've been trying to do for many, many months now is defend ourselves. And it seems like every time we take a positive step, we're met by some behind the scenes sabotage that we now have to react to. The fact that we even have to bring it up is a waste of time, but it's what's really going on behind the scenes. And I can get all these people, if people want to have them tell them firsthand, that are willing to state what some of you folks are doing to us. Now, I asked several questions in that letter. So in regards to the documents, Cal gave me 2 documents. That's why I asked if those were the only 2 documents involved. Because then, what also came up with the authority, and the authority apparently had no idea this was the case, from what they told us before, now somebody decided to have Attorney Armstrong get involved with the authority and tell them, oh no, even if you give them access, they still need to go to the Borough Council for access. That came out of nowhere. So the first document is the management agreement that Cal gave me. And that's the agreement basically outlining the water authority owns the water, they own the hydrants, and they have an agreement that the borough and the borough employees run the system. So now, apparently Attorney Armstrong told the authority that after reviewing the pertinent documents, he came to the conclusion that yes, there's shared authority over the water access. I've read the entire document, I copied 1 page, page 2, and I highlighted it. So let me just read that to you. The authority engages the borough to be manager and operator of the water system for the terms of this agreement. And the borough agrees to manage and operate the water systems on the terms and conditions hereinafter set forth. In its capacity as manager and operator, and subject at all times, and that's critical, to the supervision by the authority in the exercise and discharge of its duties under the law and as may be set forth under this resolution. Okay? That does not give the borough the authority to say who does and who doesn't get water. It says at all times the supervision remains with the water authority. The second document, and this one's even more telling, and the mayor alluded to it tonight, so he must have done some homework because I know you've been at some of the water authority meetings, listening to what's been going on there. So the next item, and I only made 1 page, a copy of 1 page, but it's from chapter 337, it's the borough ordinance on water. And as you always tell us, the ordinance is law, correct? Borough law. So when you go and read that entire chapter 337 on water in the borough of Macungie, and you get to the 337.1, excuse me. Hold on, I lost my place. I'm sorry, 337-21. Fire hydrant, it says amended 1/2 of 2001 by ordinance number 2001-1. So, if you go to item B, I'll read that. No person other than a member of the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department or other cooperating public fire company in active performance of duty shall, without a permit from the Borough of Macungie, use, open, or otherwise interfere with any fire hydrant in the Borough Authority water system. So yes, you did appoint Lower Macungie Township as the serving fire department to carry out the authority that you have from the Pennsylvania Constitution to give fire service to the borough. But this still is the law of the borough. So yeah, they're covered because it says any other fire department in the duty of and the service of. We are named. We have every right to continue to use the water that we've been using since 1907. You shouldn't have pulled this maneuver with this letter last year. It was another attempt to derail us. There's been a lot of other attempts to derail us, and I'm not gonna get into them all this night because we're trying to just let everybody know we're not ready to go yet. Like some people go, well, why aren't they ready to go? Well, because guess what? When you take a company that had as many ills going on as we did, it takes a while. It's not a quick, easy rebuilding process. When you have a company that we do that has to deal with and burden all of the negativity and all of the sabotage that we've had to deal with and continues right up until today, we're asking for it to stop. If you don't want us to succeed, that's your opinion. I can respect that. But you don't have to sabotage what you don't like. I think there's a lot of people who'd like to see us succeed. We're trying to succeed. I'm gonna be, when I sell my business and move on one day, I'm not gonna be here. I'm not doing this because I want anything out of this or because I wanna be a firefighter. I'm doing this because I just thought it was a good asset for this borough to keep since it's been here since 1907. I think it's good for the community, especially with the railroad issue we have down here. Okay? It's not like we're gonna get rid of Lower Macungie one day or that we're asking to do that. It's mutual aid. They were helping us when we were here and we were helping them. And there's a problem with volunteerism today everywhere in every organization, and fire companies are not exempt from it. Upper Milford has signs out, yard signs along Route 100. Please help serve your community. Join a local fire department. I know I've heard things about Lower Macungie Township, and yeah, they have a lot of people on their roster, and they have a lot of people in their book, but they have trouble getting people to go to these calls. Everybody does. So what does it hurt to have one more, especially in this case, that you've had for over 100 years on this side of the railroad tracks, centrally located within our 1 square mile borough? And that's just what a lot of people have agreed with that I think is a good cause to try to save and bring back to what it was. I told you, for 10 years, 2013 to 2023, I was here. You can see all the minutes. I saw this coming because I knew the man who was running that show down there. And it was inevitable. I'm surprised it took that long, but inevitably it failed. So what we're telling you is, we're trying, we'd like your support, but if you don't support it, don't sabotage us, okay? We'd love to have your support. We'd love to have you get together with us. We'd actually, besides having our questions answered, we obviously would like to have continued access to the fire hydrant, which, like I said, I don't really think we even need to ask for. But we went along with this. We didn't come out and say, look, you can't stop us, we have access. We didn't play that kind of game. We went through, even after I realized I didn't think you had the authority to send the letter, we still abided by the letter. And then we go to the authority, and guess what? It sounds like it's news to most of them that now all of a sudden there's a shared authorization over who has access. Well, then when the documents were requested and received, and I read the documents, and I'm gonna tell you, lawyers always seem to make a deal somehow and come out in the end, the only one's looking good, but I did have some legal review here and showed the documents, and we don't want to get into legal action. That's the last thing we want, okay? The borough doesn't need more lawsuits. We don't want to get involved in a lawsuit. The community doesn't want any more lawsuits because it's taxpayer dollars. But I will say this, right now, the legal advice that I was given is that those documents I just showed you, that's why I showed you those 2 pages, it appears there's no legal doubt to the authority we have to the water access. And if you want to change that authority, then you would have to amend your code of ordinance. And then I guess by doing that, if you wanna go that far, you're basically telling the community you have no interest in a future resurrection of the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department. So I think that would be a statement to the community. But right now, and again, please, I'm not threatening legal action, but I felt at this point we needed to get legal review. And these documents, not just to me, but to our legal review, appear to show absolute right to the water. So we're asking you, basically at this point, to stop sabotaging this. Okay? We'd also like, if possible, that maybe a couple of liaisons from the Borough Council could be set up to meet with the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department. And I would hope they would be members that would be in favor of the possibility of a future Macungie Volunteer Fire Department. The only thing that makes me even hesitate on that, I think it'd be a great idea to entertain ideas from both sides, but also to keep you up to date on what we're doing. And as far as audits and taxes, we file our taxes every year. They're public. You can go onto the site and look them up. You don't even have to go anywhere. You can go review them. The audits are public knowledge. You can look them up. We were just audited last year. So our audits are public and they're accessible. Our taxes are accessible. I think to go forward, if there's some positive support here, I've heard in the community that a lot of people think it's a good idea to have us back up and running again. And as I told you, we're not ready yet, but we're trying to get there, except we keep getting new hurdles that I don't think should really be there. Again, if you don't like it, you don't like us, you don't want to see it, so be it. But you don't have to keep trying to knock us down and sabotage the fact that we're trying and our members are trying. We're solvent. We have money in the bank. We're self-funded. We get rentals on our property. We get donations. We get money from the parking of the cars at the car show. And that's it. We've had to be very frugal. But we've done it. We've had to restructure by getting rid of several vehicles. Yes, you know why? They were in debt up and beyond their eyeballs. We had to get rid of those to satisfy debt on some of those trucks. And when we took over, a lot of the trucks were not inspected and they weren't certified. Meaning if it has a certain apparatus on it, it has to be certified that it can do its job properly and safely. All of our trucks right now are all inspected and they're all certified. Okay? I was hoping you guys would have had those, so, you know, those two items in your packets tonight, so you would have seen that in advance, but I mean, the highlighted areas, I think, kind of get right to the point. And my hope would be that you would think it's still a worthwhile cause to try to resurrect this institution and give us a fair chance. Stop trying to trip us up. You don't have to do anything to help us if you don't want, if that's the way you feel about it, but stop trying to trip us up. Give us a fair shot at this. Let us try to do what we want to do and see if we can accomplish that goal. It's not just for the members of the fire department, it's for the community at large. And like I said, a lot of people in the public have told me they think we're doing a great job. They'd like to see us succeed. And it just makes sense to have another department right smack dab in the middle of this borough. So if your thoughts would at least entertain having some kind of liaison committee to meet with us, have them communicate with us, and see what we're doing and see what the next steps entail, so we can continue the rebuilding process. Are there any questions?
I don't have any.
I have a question. You mentioned a couple things, that you're not ready to go, you're looking for water at this point.
Yes.
You said the next step would be a letter of mutual aid from the borough?
No, from other townships and boroughs.
How long do you think it would take to get that once you've had, you could train?
No, we can train. Training is separate from the mutual aid.
Right. but-
Training is something we do actually every week.
Okay, but you wanna train with water, right?
We want to train with water.
And then you'll be able to, you think, get some,
Mutual aid,
yeah.
we were in the progress of getting more than just the one that we received and turned in. That's
So
what
that
I'm
would be an agreement where you could go on call.
They would actually put us on their call box.
So how long do you think it would take to get from A to B?
It's hard to say because now several of them have been scared to get involved because of the threat of litigation, okay? And the threats that some people have made. Now we've got to go mend those fences and basically say there's nothing that you guys can do that would get you into legal jeopardy by letting us train with you. That was another thing. Now they don't even want to train with us because of all the bad things that have been put in their head. And beyond that, even though they know a lot of them are lies, they're worried about the litigation issue now because this threat has been going around. And these fire guys and these fire companies, they all talk, okay? They know. When one knows, they all know. So now there's this hesitancy, oh wow, if we get involved with those guys, are we gonna get into some kind of legal trap with the Borough of Macungie or the Lower Macungie Township Fire Department? So obviously we're trying to mend those fences, but we shouldn't have had to mend those fences. We were gonna have multiple letters ready to go to that one, we've been at the Water Authority 3 times now. The last one got canceled due to lack of a quorum. So we were gonna have multiple, but then these visits occurred. And the visits scared them off. And only one made it to that meeting. And like I said, within a few days, it's amazing. Within a few days, the townships were being flipped out at by Lower Macungie Township and telling them to cease and desist any interaction with us. Training, mutual training. A lot of times you'll go to their department, or they'll come to your department, or you'll go to a joint area and do whatever activity, do a specific maneuvers with the trucks. But now we're fighting that, and we're still in the midst of that now because this all just happened in the last several weeks. We really shouldn't have to be doing this. We'd already have those letters. And if we have the letters, that's one thing that they want to see at the Auditor General's office and the Pennsylvania State Fire Commission. There are other departments in this state that go on mutual aid calls that are in the same situation we're in right now. They're not sponsored by a township or a borough. That we would see as a stepping stone to hopefully one day get back. So train with water instead of dry trucks and dry hoses. Get the surrounding boroughs and townships to say, okay, we don't feel threatened, and maybe the council could help with that avenue. That there's not gonna be actual litigation for trying to work with these guys, okay? Because these scare tactics are working. And that's what they are, scare tactics. Some people don't want us to succeed.
If we vote tonight that or we decide that you do have access to the water, you can start training tomorrow.
Yes.
What's the soonest that you could be going on calls? And would there be who would make that decision? Would it be, you mentioned that you had state fire marshal approval. Is that the only approval you need, or do you need, like if we had a fire in the borough tomorrow and Lower Macungie was responding to it, would they ask you to come help, or I don't know how that works?
It would be basically the decision would lie between our department and those department officers.
Got it.
Basically the fire chief at whatever department and his administration. And again, they would usually want to see some joint training to check you out.
Sure.
Be next to your guys while you're operating your apparatus.
Yep.
So how long will that take? I wouldn't want to put a number, but hopefully not very long. We've actually just wasted a lot of good summer months training that we could have been training with water.
It's too hot out there, you don't want to train that.
Well, we wish we could have had these last several months, but like I said, these roadblocks have kept coming up when it was found out we were going to the Water Authority. If that hadn't happened, I think we'd already have water, even though, like I stated now, I didn't have these documents before I put the request in, okay? I now have these documents and have had them reviewed, and we're still gonna go to the Water Authority because we don't wanna be the ones who say, now here it says we can do what we want. We're not trying to play that game. We're trying to work with everybody. We're trying to get assistance. We're trying to get you behind us. And we're admitting, we're not ready to go tomorrow. But we need a couple things in the near future so we can get ready. And then when we get to that point where the other departments around us say, hey, you know what, we've worked with them a couple times, let's put them back on our call box. Then we start going on live calls. Because again, what hurts membership if you want to be a firefighter? You guys don't practice with water? Are you kidding me? Okay. Oh, you can't go on calls? What kind of club are we running, right? Why would you want to join us? And we've had a lot more interest than we've had actual signups, because when we do our interview process and they find out we don't have water access and we can't go on calls, they tell us to let them know. You can imagine, right? Common sense. If you want to fight fires. So it's really hurt recruitment, even by members who come and apply, and then we do an interview process with those people and tell them the facts. So having those things happen would definitely spur the people who said, call me when it happens. That would, I think, spur even more members. It would spur more membership to actually say, okay, sign me up, I want to be part of your team.
Mr. Roman,
Yes,
can I throw a couple questions?
sure.
You stated from 2013 to 2023, you came to the council many times and you wanted council to take care of the fire company?
To try to intervene in some way.
Okay,
You finally did take one of my actual suggestions, you remember?
refresh my memory. Which one?
I came to council, and again, I don't think this is something you have to do in every situation with every fire department or every entity, but because I did have knowledge through the rumor mill, but it turned out to be true, about what was really going on there. Okay, the theft of funds and the theft of implements
Okay, you're talking in-house stuff down at the fire company, am I correct?
by the chief.
Okay,
So I said you guys need to somehow figure a way to reel him in and tie his hands financially.
yeah, but who picked the chief? The membership of the fire company
That's right.
picked the chief, okay?
You were
So-
a member there.
Huh?
You were a member there when he was there.
Oh, no, hold it.
What?
You get it right. Well, I was trying to get trained for a fire, to drive a fire truck, but you and Mrs. Schanzenbach want to know
Who,
what
me?
the hell.
No,
Oh,
me?
yeah, I'm sorry, yes, it was.
Me?
But that's off the topic right now. But you had a leadership that didn't do a darn thing, you had executive board, you didn't do anything, the membership board didn't do anything, so now you're trying to blame council.
I'm not
And
blaming council.
Council did not have the power, Mr. Roman. That's what I can't understand.
No, I'm not blaming. I'm pointing out a fact that for 10 years I came before you and asked for your help because I could see what was going to happen. Not that I'm a great prophet. I heard what was going on in that department. And it's true even beyond what I assumed when I got involved trying to help. The amount of things that are missing.
Okay.
I had you to try to, you guys actually were supposed to, Becker was the president, you were there, you might have been vice president. I suggested, and again, this is going way out of the box, but why don't you tie him down by having every account that they have access to fully audited? Okay?
Now you're talking the fire company should
Fire
be audited,
fire
okay?
department. And make that one of the criteria for you giving them the money every year. Not just we're still audited. We're still audited by the Fireman's Relief, okay? And like I said, we just had one last year. But I said, the things that are being discovered missing, they know how to, people that do those types of things know how to get around the system. So I said, by going to an audit of every department, of every account they have, will be one way to tie his hands and reel him in. You guys actually changed it that night in this room. I was so persistent, you changed the motion that night on the floor and did that. But you know what? You continued to give him the money and you never enacted it.
No, back in 2023, we were concerned about what was going on at the fire company. We heard all types of rumors.
So did I.
Oh, okay. So now your second installment of money was gonna be coming due, and we asked for an audit. The fire company they didn't respond at all. We had no control. We stopped the money because we didn't know what they were doing. Was it buying another Kubota tractor? Was it buying a snow plow blade for something else? There was all types of stuff that council heard. So,
I reinforced what council heard by I brought you a lot of documentation. All I'm saying is, I tried to bring things to the attention as council for a 10-year period. I'm not blaming council. I was trying to get council to do more to reel him in before it got as bad as what we found out when we became members.
we had no power over them.
Wait, I have a question about that.
Okay, so I think you could have, because you actually adopted it that night,
Adopted
but-
what?
to have an account, an audit of all accounts at the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department.
Yes, and the fire company did not respond to it at all.
Okay, then you should have withheld their money.
We did,
Well,
we did. From 2023, the fire
That's-
company did not get any money in 2024 first or second time, or 2025 first or second time, or 2026.
well, they weren't
We didn't know
around.
where the money was going.
They basically, they're not defunct, but they weren't an operating, fire company as of December 23. So you wouldn't have given them anything in 26 or 25. I'd have to go check the records and see if you gave them anything that last year in 23.
I don't think we did at all.
I'll have to look into that. I don't know the answer. But I know for several times after that night, I thought, oh, we finally made progress, and then they kept getting money after that. Because they said, and they did, he ignored you. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's gone. Can we get past him? He's the guy who's the root of the evil.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Only one person has ever been held responsible by the police, his secretary. She's making us installment plans for her $10,000 of theft. She's the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
The guy that stole the most, and I guess I should be careful, he's still walking around.
Yeah, I understand what you're talking about, the stolen fruit, but I also heard she got a reduction in her punishment to sing like a bird. So I heard all types of stuff about the former chief, I get all that. I know about Bailey, Keller, whoever down there. It was their mess, not our mess. We can't go, we could not go
Can
down.
I correct you? See, now you're blaming people. First of all, Tom Bailey's back as our treasurer, okay? He was a treasurer there for several years.
If the money was being
excuse
stolen,
me.
then why do you have the same treasurer when it was? he
Well,
was there?
why did he leave? What happened? Why wasn't he there?
Which time?
Well, he was only there the first time and now. So why did he get forced out? He got fired. Okay? Because you know why? He was trying to keep the chief in check. They finally got rid of him. Tim Keller is here tonight. What happened to him? We always want to throw names around, but nobody knows the background. He got fired because he started going up against Addison. He saw what was going on. When you went against Addison, why did the department go from a big, bustling department full of great guys to a handful? Why did that happen?
Tell us.
He fired him or made life so miserable that the good guys quit and went to other
Why
departments.
didn't you fire him, period?
I wasn't there.
Well, the fire company, no, yes.
I can't speak for
But
what
they
happened.
did not do their due diligence.
We can't go back and recreate history. Okay?
Yeah, can we move on to what you're
Yeah.
asking?
Yes,
Let's just stop with it.
yes. I'm trying not to go down that path.
Well, then stop.
I can bring it up, sir. I was answering his question.
Carl, blame me.
Well, you asked the question. Don't
No,
look at me.
I'm not here to argue with you. Would you please present what you want?
Well,
Everybody has
I'm
their
at the
own-
point now where I'm
think you
asking, what are you willing to do for us? We're asking for your help. We're asking, I guess at a minimum, to answer our questions on the letter. And, you know, one other thing that came up, Mr. Sell, your mother was at the Water Authority meeting, and that's in the letter. And she mentioned to the Water Authority that there were negotiations going on between the Borough of Macungie and the Lower Macungie Township for a 5 to 10 year extension. Nobody's heard anything about that. Could you explain where that came from?
I don't know, you said it before, the rumor mill.
Well,
How the hell would I know that answer for you?
She's your mother.
So what?
Oh, here, ask her. Sit and talk, huh?
So you go to those meetings with your mother, don't you? At the local water.
What does it matter where I go?
Well, I think the people should know if there's
Okay,
a
I
fact-
go to every goddamn meeting we have in this freaking borough. So what?
Mr. Rowan,
I'm asking, again, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that people don't know about.
Yeah, you're right, there are.
That's
You're
right.
damn
There
right
are.
there are.
And that came out. So where did the 5 to 10 year,
I don't have that answer for you, Mr. Romy, okay?
Mr. Rowan.
okay,
Mr. Rowan.
so that,
I will take the credit for that.
you will?
I will take credit for that, because this is the last part of the 3 years. We had excellent fire service. Your fire company is not up to snuff yet. I thought it would be a good idea if council at some point in time reconsider and go 5 to 10. Now, every Wednesday, if you wanna check my truck out front here, I go to Pinochle. And guess who I played with? Mrs. Sal. And guess what? Part of the conversation could have been about the fire company. Now, does that answer your question?
Yeah, because nobody else heard about it until she mentioned it at a water authority meeting. So you floated the idea.
Yeah, I like the idea, to be honest with you.
Okay. Well, there you go. Now we all got our answer, right?
Now we know. Thank
So I guess what I would finally conclude with is, I would like if you would actually answer the questions in our letter. We're asking for a formal response. And we'd like to know, are you of the understanding that you'd be willing to have an appointment of a couple liaison members from the council to meet with and interact with the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department?
We'll get back to you. I can't give you a immediate answer right now. We never do. Nobody ever does that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You couldn't ask your members if anybody'd be interested in doing that tonight?
No.
We wanna keep rolling. We wanna get our water access, and we wanna keep working with the borough. We wanna keep working towards that goal.
Okay, could you give me 5 minutes?
Sure.
Okay. I have an ask of you and the rest of council. Okay? And try to let me finish. It's only one page before anybody jumps in. I have 7 items I think that even the residents would agree is a reasonable ask. But council would have to ultimately give the okay for this. So I'm gonna read this to you. One thing I think we should have from the Macungie Volunteer Fire Company is a full roster of personnel, which will include titles, positions, trainings completed, and certificates held by each person. Item 2, a list of all apparatus and its general condition. Number 3, a list of all significant gear owned, such as turnout gear, self-contained breathing apparatus, hoses, radios. Number 4, copies of the last 5 years of audits and financial statements. Number 5, a certificate of insurance listing the borough as certified holder of both workman's comp and professional liability. Number 6, letters of intent from other agencies specifically stating they are willing to participate in joint training exercises with the Macungie Volunteer Fire Company. And 7, a schedule of training in which water is requested to be used, as well as a statement that a flow meter will be utilized to measure water consumption, and a statement which indicates no water will be used during a drought emergency for training. Now, how would council feel about all that? Are those too big of asks for you to provide to this council before we move forward with anything?
With anything?
Yes, with anything. Other than that, we don't have to do anything. Why would we have to do anything for you?
Well, first of all,
These are pretty easy asks. These are pretty reasonable asks.
I do
Very
have-
reasonable.
let's just go down real quick.
I was
I'll give
talking
you
to
my answer.
council first.
Oh, okay.
Let me talk to council first, please.
I
Yes.
did have a question. While I do agree that these are all things that we should have, they are a separate entity. So I do actually think it's a little strange to demand it in place of requesting water, especially considering the ordinance already does give them water rights. But I don't disagree that they should be giving us all of this. I just don't see how we could give them this list as an ultimatum to use water in order to maintain being an entity or a future mutual aid, being that we don't own them. We aren't them, so we can't supervise an entity that is not us. Our policy is to say if they want to be contracted, we can say all of these things and say, we won't give you money and you won't be our contracted fire department unless we have 1 through 7 on your list. But I don't see how that should translate to holding hostage the water rights, to letting them train to
I'm not trying
begin
to
with.
hold hostage to anything. I'm
Wrong
just
words.
talking about accountability and showing me.
No,
you
so I
actually
agree
have
with this.
stuff.
I just don't think in exchange for water is what I'm saying.
It's
That's
not an exchange. I'm looking for.
But you
that
did
you're
say
actually-
before we
said,
continue,
before you do
so
anything,
let's,
but that you actually are performing any of these things instead of just.
well, it looks like 5, 6, and 7 was actually maybe even 4 through 7 was addressed at water authority meetings. The list of the gear owned.
I've never seen any of those lists. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
As anybody on council,
the
seen
list
any
of,
of these,
yeah. But I
any
will
of
say,
this filled out, request.
I just want to say that the list of the gear owned, the apparatuses, those things, that's like, you can't ask the person who lives across the street for a list of all of their belongings when you're not even giving them money. So I don't think that we should be asking them for what they own in exchange for the water rights. But I do think that if they were to ever get any money from us in the future, that's a fair list, just not conditionary.
Megan, in the last 20 years, Macungie gave the fire
We're
company.
not talking about 20 years.
Yeah.
Hey, who's
It's okay,
speaking up?
we'll just,
Want to stand and state your name?
Terry Bloss.
Okay, now you're done. Thank you. We recognize you're interrupting the meeting. Thank you.
all right,
Town
good.
would like the fire company.
The council would give the fire company money in the past, am I correct, Mr. Nolan?
Yes, of course.
All right,
Of course.
all right, so they would buy the coats, they would buy the radios,
Right.
the helmets, all that stuff. Well, with all this rumor going back and forth, we don't know what's there anymore.
It just,
A lot
yeah,
of stuff,
fair.
a lot of stuff went to Woodlawn, and the Woodlawn gave it back, is what I was told.
Mhm.
So I don't think it's unreasonable.
No, but I also say he started in 2023, so if he spent from 2013 to 2023 forecasting everything that happened,
Yeah,
and then all those people were fired and they're brought back,
yeah.
this is a great list. Like I said, just not conditionary to giving them water, which already exists by ordinance.
I just need
That's
to
it.
jump in there. We've reviewed this for the borough. I disagree with your legal team's assessment. This doesn't obligate the borough to give access.
Okay, well then
Borough
I would
has the
withdraw, but
right to
we still
manage
have the
the
right to
water.
discuss whether or not they
Just
have
so
water
that
rights,
the
right?
council has our
Okay.
position.
That's your legal opinion,
Yes,
and there's lawyers on both sides of every issue.
I've been told.
Yes,
Yeah.
you probably figured that out, right? So we don't really want to get in a legal battle, but I'm gonna tell you, if we have to, we want, unfortunately, will go down the road. That's not what I'm here about. I'm just trying to tell you folks, we've been trying everything we can. And we'd be a lot farther if it weren't for this continued sabotage. Could I ask you to go down that list and I'll give you my quick answers, but I will take it to the membership?
No, I'd like to have this, I'd like our council to decide whether or not we give you this list. I don't want an answer from you right now. I wanna see it in writing. I wanna see forms, paperwork, I wanna see you got insurance. I wanna see the form you got insurance. That's what I'd like.
The water
I
authority
think
has,
we're all entitled to that,
we have it.
the residents.
The
You
water-
say you have it. Where? Have you ever given it to council?
First of all, what would the reason be to give it to council since you guys don't contribute to us and we're not your fire department? What, do I just give all the records, bring them up here and let you look through them? What gives you that right to do that? You're making it sound like we're not giving you something, but you don't deserve it. You have no right to our records if we're not serving you. When we're serving you, you have a right to those items. Now you're putting another roadblock in between us and accomplishing what our goal is.
All right, let's,
First of all, I already told you, the taxes and the audits, they're all online. The authority already has our training schedule. They have our insurance. Most of your stuff is right at your fingertips.
Okay. Can I ask the rest of the council if they'd like to?
Sure.
I'll make the motion. Would council be okay with me moving something like this forward?
I think that we're
I'm maybe
discussing
somewhere in the middle.
different,
To give them access to water,
has
I
nothing.
made a motion. We want to approve yes or no,
Well-
and then we'll discuss, not discuss.
What is the motion exactly?
To an ask
for
of
these
these 7 items.
But the agenda
That's the
item we're
motion.
on is to
It's
request
seconded by
fire.
Mr. Hutchinson.
I know, but I'm just gonna clarify, we're on agenda item, new business, letter B, and that's for request to fire hydrant access, not your list.
No, I brought it up.
I know, but you're making a motion on something, that's not the motion.
Wouldn't you have to amend your,
We would have to amend the agenda to do what you said. And,
That's fine.
we're on letter B, so I think we're supposed to be discussing requesting fire hydrant access, not the list. That list,
Okay,
I'll ask the solicitor, is this a reasonable motion based upon the agenda item advertised?
Your motion may be to approve fire hydrant access pending the submission of these items, is that?
sure, if that's a legal way to do it. It all relates to what you're asking for.
no, it doesn't.
I don't see how copies of the last 5 years of audits, when they just started in 2023, is relevant to the water rates or the gear owned. Some of the other things, I can see the relevance. I still don't see it as being conditionary.
Some of those public things, we can get them for you. If you don't wanna look them up, we'll give them to you. But there's only a couple things on there I don't think you have the right to. Most of it, I think 5 out of those 7 items, Cal has. He's sitting right next to you. He can give them to you tomorrow morning.
But I'm not asking Cal.
He's your borough manager.
Great. I'm asking you as the president.
But I've already turned them in. I'll turn them in again if that's what you'd like.
Mike, what should the motion be on letter B? What are we supposed to be discussing for the request for fire hydrant access?
President South can correct me if I'm wrong, if your motion is to grant fire hydrant access subject to the submission of these 7 items.
For consideration.
Consider it, and you can discuss amongst yourselves whether or
That's the
not
motion.
that's
So that's,
what you want.
and then we would need a second to discuss that.
Greg,
Okay.
second.
Yes, of course I did.
so we're not discussing it.
I mean, yes, we should discuss it, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, my take would be, for them to be our fire department, I would want a lot more than these 7 things. A lot more. I don't think I need all 7 things to give them access to. A fire hydrant once a month. That's what the ask is, correct?
Mhm.
I'm honest with you, this is an uphill battle that fire company has to go through after it's past history, right? And I'm really trying to focus on going forward rather than what's been in the past. I think we've done a lot of looking backwards in this room, in my opinion. And not on just this subject, but lots of subjects. And I think we're better off trying to figure out what's mutually the best thing for the borough of Macungie going forward. And I think in order for the Macungie Volunteer Fire Department to be our fire department again, they would need to do a lot of uphill climbing to get to that point, in my opinion. But I don't see why it's damaging for us to be civil to each other and not have to have another lawsuit and give you access to a fire hydrant once a month. That's what the ask is, correct?
Yes.
I would be on that page.
Mr. Roman. When you were Doug say, what conditions are wells in? Because I understand we're 7 inches low. Didn't Doug say it will not be a good time to utilize it in that manner?
I don't recall him saying that.
He said,
He said we're, no, the question was, are we in a
Are we in
a drought? He said, no, we're in a drought watch.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Okay, all right.
And I actually brought up, if you recall, that we would be willing to install a meter on the hydrant. I think that was one of the items brought up.
On here, yes.
Well, when we talked to the water authority, they don't have a meter for a fire hydrant.
No, we don't, but I guess, I'm sure if you remember, Doug said you could either rent one or probably buy one.
Well, that could be thrown in the mix.
Again, I don't.
But
think
now we're
these are
talking about
big
putting our
houses.
equipment, if we're gonna spend the money to put our equipment on the hydrant, now we're taking a gamble, because those are thousands of dollars.
I have no idea.
Okay.
So then would you be willing to amend the motion to say, and instead of this 7 list just for water, that we could approve water if they get a meter? So that we could watch out for,
Once a month, and then
yes.
we're not in a drought.
And then we don't need the meter at this point, but if we go into additional training, getting closer to getting, I don't know what the right word would be.
I would agree. Number 7 is the only one relevant to the actual request for hydrant access right now, so.
I think very important would be a certificate of insurance, each, as the borough has a
Yes, fair,
certificate
of
holder.
course.
That is
Yes.
important, because injuries do occur in training.
Of course.
Reasonable. Do we have that, you said?
No,
I'd have-
not with the borough listed.
I was just gonna question that, I'd have to check with Tom Bailey. How would the borough be involved in that, since we're on our property and you're not sponsoring us? Okay, so when we
Yeah.
leave our property and go to another fire department, it's us. Why would we wanna include the borough? I don't see that that's gonna be,
Because
I'll
if-
ask him.
Because if one of your members is severely injured in a training exercise,
But it's our insurance, we have workers' comp and liability.
understood, but it would cover the borough in case something occurred. I mean, we get certificates of insurance if you have an electrician do work in your house. We get COIs for everything, and
think
that's generally what government does.
If that's
And that's a
commonplace.
simple, your
That's
agency.
tremendously common, and it's not very expensive at
It's
all.
very,
It's, yeah,
It
it's
may
common
not cost
even for
anything.
commercial business.
It may not cost anything.
Okay,
it should be.
because I know we've already turned in the others, the liability and the workers' comp, but they did not have the borough
As the
mentioned.
holder, right.
Additional insured or whatever, yeah. And that's just a very simple, it's not a big deal.
If it is, then I will check with Tom Bailey, he's actually our insurance carrier.
So do we vote on the amendment as it was originally laid out, or are we amending it?
I was just asking if there's any way to amend the agenda to include only number 7 and now number 5 also of Carl's list. So the certificate of insurance and the 7, the schedule of training and a flow meter.
Well, do we need to go and spend the money for a flow meter if we're only using it once a month? I'm only saying that we threw that out there as an idea that we would be willing to go along with, and then we were advised that they don't own one. You know,
Could we go by the water authority's recommendations on whether there's a drought?
so they, again,
Is it really that hard to supply any of this stuff in writing of these asks? I mean, really, is it really that hard
We're not your fire
to
department.
provide that?
Oh, there we go again.
I'm not trying to stop you, I think I don't think any of this is unreasonable.
what do you know what, I asked you to read them back to me, you said you didn't want any answers from me tonight, so will you read them back and I'll go down the list with you?
I just want counsel, if we can agree this, we can give you this in a formal form, get it together and give it back.
I think it's more.
I don't wanna have a debate with you.
I don't wanna have a debate either.
This
You
gets
have
into
you have a
legal.
motion on the table.
Right,
If
I have a
there's
motion.
been a discussion, if there's more discussion, have it. If not, you can vote on the motion unless you want to amend it.
I do not wanna
amend. Then if you can continue the discussion or vote on the motion.
mean, if we're going to discuss, maybe we should all go around and ask before we vote if we're willing to vote on this with these items being conditionary.
Or we just vote.
Or we just vote, yeah.
And then, yeah.
I mean, yes, I guess take it to a vote. We have a motion and a second.
So I ask for a vote for the original.
All seven items.
I'll have a vote for the original high, worded the first time around. With a roll call.
Megan Sell,
I would vote no, not with the full list.
Lynette Sell,
Yes.
Ashelman,
No.
Carl Sell,
Yes.
Landis,
No.
Reinbold,
No,
Hutchison.
Yes.
Motion fails 4-3.
I'd like to make a second motion to approve the water usage with a certificate of insurance and at least water authority recommendations on whether or not we are in a drought for training once a month, and make sure that we have a copy of the training schedule.
You want the certificate of insurance to name
So the
borough
certificate of
as-
insurance to name the borough as COI, second insured, a list for their training schedule, and to have the blessing of the water authority to state that we are not in a drought and it wouldn't be damaging for them to train once a month. So they meet once a month, they should be able to give their blessing once a month, whether or not our wells are at an acceptable level to be able to train. So we can guide our month-to-month decision based on the water authority's authority.
And how many gallons at a time?
I mean,
Yeah, come on, people.
maybe, Craig, can we,
This
I
is
know,
what I'm asking.
I know. Can
When
we
I
just
went
have
down
the
there,
water
I was-
authority decide
when
that?
When I was trying to be a fire truck driver, I was down it, and there was a pump.
Mhm.
And they use a whole lot of water. They had an aerial list. I'm concerned about how much water they're gonna be using.
So maybe
Can-
part
can
of
we
the, yeah, maybe
Cap
part,
it somehow, that's.
That's a reasonable ask.
it is.
It is, I'm
is.
gonna tell
Of
you,
course, it's,
Mr. Naddison didn't respect water either.
Pardon?
Mr. Naddison didn't respect water either, I can tell you that.
I think
Okay.
you're right, but right now, with the way the drought watch or whatever.
Well,
I'm
it's a drought
concerned.
watch, but we also haven't used a drop of water from that hydrant in 3 years.
I agree, but that doesn't change how much water you could use.
Didn't the water authority give you a set, a gallon amount?
No, they
It
can't.
didn't.
they did allow them to fill your trucks
Just to fill the
once.
They
trucks.
did, they
Yes.
allowed us to fill
One
our
time.
trucks so the water, the tanks in the trucks would have water. That's what they allowed us to do.
I remember that.
So how do we get to a point where we're trying, I mean, it's a reasonable ask, I mean, I don't know if it's 1,000 gallons or 50,000 gallons, I'm sure, you know, dramatic for the purpose, but.
Well, the way it used to be, they could use water every night they trained. Now, and again, talking to ex-members, he didn't respect the resource of water either.
So we don't, I mean, could we leave it up to the water authority?
That's what
I
I
would,
thought.
because actually, when they told us they would declare a drought or something like that, we would adhere to what their,
In the spirit of, working together.
Mhm.
So that's a concern, how much water we're using here, right? It's an expense for you to get the meter, if you were to buy it. I think it'd be beneficial for us to start working towards some of these things in order to take whatever the next step might be. And that's my thoughts, right? So, you know, again, I'm not gonna say you need to go out and buy whatever the meter costs, I have no idea what they cost, right? But
you know,
as
it's
this
not now.
grows, anything more than 1 month, I would suggest that we have that.
Okay.
So where are we now?
All right.
So I made a motion
What-
to,
There's no measuring device on the water.
right, there's
Give them once
there's
a
no
month
measuring
access,
device, but
whenever the water
yes.
department says it's not in the
Whatever,
drought,
yes,
they provide
once a
us
month.
with
They already train,
certificate
what,
insurance.
once a week? You train once a
We
week?
train once a week.
So they train once a week, they would be able to train once a month with water, the rest of
Yes.
the time, whatever they do. We would want a schedule of their training so we can see what weeks like if somebody drives past, oh, they're using water, is that a week you're supposed to use water or not? It's a way to keep it accountable, the COI, and that's it, that was my motion.
I would second that. keeping in mind, this list is where we're trying to get to.
Oh, eventually, yes.
So what's the motion again?
That we are going to yield to the water authority to let them know how much water they should use, if they can use water, whether or not there is a drought, that we want a schedule of their training for accountability, and we get a certificate of insurance listing the borough as additional insured. And he seconded, and they get water once a month, and we want proof of when that scheduled training is.
How much more?
And we said that we would yield to the water authority,
I don't think it'd be unrealistic to rent a hydrant meter one time.
just
To
for an
get
idea. Yeah.
if you're using
Actually,
10,
it's a great
20,
idea, too.
30,000 gallons, and then leave it up to Doug on whether or not they can use water, because nobody knows our
Who's
water
renting
system
this?
better than Doug.
Who's renting this
Well,
meter?
it would have to be the
Fire department. It's their
Okay, so
entity.
they're gonna have to rent a meter. We're asking them to do that all.
A single time, just to get, I think the idea was to a single time to get an idea of
Just have an idea on how much.
what do you
So-
train with.
I
That's a
think
fair attitude.
Can you borrow one
Right.
from another, like, fire?
that's possible.
Let me just,
You're asking
and
for
again,
it.
I'm not,
My
I'm
neighbor's
not-
had my weed whacker for 3 years. I don't know if everybody's like good on loaning stuff out.
I'm gonna just say this, and I'm not an actual firefighter, I'm an administrator. But just watching those guys train and knowing the apparatus that we use, depending what the training night is scheduled to do, is gonna be indicative of how much water you would physically use that night. Okay, so not every night of water use will be the same.
So,
So it's kind of, I guess, my
so
thought
you
is
schedule
here.
that night that you use the most possible water you're gonna use with the apparatus you use, the one that uses the most. Then you have a threshold.
And they're
Right.
rentable?
Yeah, from what I've researched, yes. I wish you could probably
Making a
find
suggestion.
Sanders.
What's that?
Sanders. Equipment.
I'm not ready to vote on any of this tonight, on this water. I
Well,
wanna
there-
research this more, think about
You
this
know,
more.
But there is a motion and a second, so we are gonna
Brought
vote.
up.
I know,
This is the first time I've seen this.
I know, but there is a motion and a second.
Please.
You were ready to vote.
Please, man. Who are you? You wanna stand up and state your name if you're disruptive again?
I didn't disrupt it yet.
What's your name?
Lisa.
Okay, you're disruptive. Thank you. Sit down.
You're very nasty. No, you don't have to be nasty.
I think there is still a motion and a second on the table, so we
I
are
was just
voting.
gonna ask, isn't there a motion on the
Yes.
floor?
It might help for you to restate the motion.
All right, I will restate the motion again. I think that we should make a motion, or I am making a motion to approve the training for water with the condition that we get a schedule of training, that they are going to be training once a month. We will yield to drought usage or however much water to the water authority, since that is their authority, and we are going to request a copy of the certificate of insurance. That is the motion, and that's the same motion, so then,
What
Do I
about
have
the
to-
meter?
that was Bob that said the meter.
That meter wasn't in the first.
The meter was not in my
No.
first motion, I'm not opposed, but it's to get them
I would
moving.
rather not have us spend the money, but I mean, if that's what we need to do, I'm just trying to keep very frugal, since we are not funded by anybody but ourselves. We will do what we need to do. But at this point, we're asking for one night a month.
I would assume this is gonna be more than a one-step process too, right? I would assume we'll be having discussions as to what's the next step, what's the next step.
Yes, of course, that's why we're asking for the liaison committee. Yes.
So Mike, I did restate the motion, it's still seconded, do we vote?
On what? What about the meter?
I just said my motion, I didn't include the meter.
You didn't include the meter.
It's not on the motion.
No.
It wasn't on the motion and it wasn't on the second, so that's where we're at.
Sure, roll call.
Lynette Sell,
Yes.
Ashelman,
Yes.
Carl Sell,
No.
Landis,
Yes.
Reinbold,
Yes.
Hutchison,
No.
Megan Sell.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-2.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're gonna take, I'd like to short recess before public comment, since we've all been here for quite a while. Now to public comment. All over the place. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Risa Donegan, and I live at 9 Coach Street. So I have a couple of things on my list. I'll go with the most important one first. So I found this in my backyard. Now my back is like firework. Okay. So my backyard doesn't like border any streets. So this had to fly over a long way to get to my backyard. And like my dog could have been out there. I think it's really scary. If it didn't like burn out, it could start on fire. Is there a way that the council can make an ordinance that these flying things are illegal?
Probably already is.
Probably already is.
There's some
I
shame.
don't know.
The state.
I don't know.
I think fireworks.
I don't know, I'm
are
just
limited
asking
on
because
where
it's
they can be
really
set
big.
off.
I don't know.
This had to fly a long way to get to my backyard.
I believe the state regulates how close they can be shut off to. I believe the state regulates how close they can be fired off from residences. So that's already on the books.
So they can't make these illegal in the borough or something.
I don't think you can supersede a state law in the state. It does not make those illegal.
Okay, well, I just thought I'd ask.
Okay.
And then I have just a couple more things. One, I think that, now I know for Das Hockfest that there were people like that stood out and did the crossing thing, but it wasn't there for the truck show. And that truck show, let me tell you, you get a lot more, and that was scary. Even though, you press the button, it would have been nice to have somebody out there regulating. And I hope for the Wheels of Time that you do it. That was my other thing. The other thing is, since the nature of my job is I work for a title company, so I do the conveyancing. So like I order final water, sewer bills and things like that. And I look up other townships and boroughs and in the state. And one of the things I came across was I went on this website and they were offering a discount for if you wanted to buy a Ring doorbell. So I was wondering if our borough, that might be a good idea, if they can get with Ring or kind of offer a discount to people if they might like want to do that. Then the other thing was, I brought this up once before, was the vacation forms. Like if people go on, because since our borough is so small, if we could fill out a vacation form and maybe the police would know that you weren't home and they could drive by your house. And then the other thing is that with this thing with the fire department, I just wonder if the animosity comes from not liking the people that are in charge of it more than the actual wanting to have a fire department. All right, that's it, I'm done. Thank you. Can I get my money?
I think the top's out already.
I'm gonna go row by row here. Gentlemen.
Good evening. My name is Ted Musellen. I live at 3101 Sequoia Drive, Lower Macungie, but it's the properties that are in conjunction with the building, field at Brookside Country Club. I have a concern, as do many. I think there's other people from our community, from our residents there too. I've lived in this area well over 40 years. I've seen the zoning management or mismanagement, whichever term you want to use, on going from a sea of corn all over the place to a more restrictive area. Not judging that one way or the other, but what has finally happened is it's directly affecting me and my wife. When they made the development for that plan of those buildings over there, the housing over there, they put in an idea of a walking track, which I think you've already heard of. I've been calling all over the place, but I call it the pinball effect, where I get bounced from one place to the other. People don't call me back, so I'm coming to you because I've been told you are the ones that are managing that. I believe I'm correct on that, if not, correct me, please. But what my concern is, there was supposed to be the track and then a fencing to give privacy and security for the residents of Sequoia Drive and the other homes going up along that property management. And there's been a decision, I think, again, I don't know for sure, but I'm coming to you for explanation, that they're changing that now, that they were gonna put a 6-foot fence along the property line for the homes at Sequoia Drive, all the way up. I'm in the corner. And they were gonna put a security fence and privacy fence along that for the walking track along that area. The problem I'm coming into now is, I'm hearing that they're not, I'm hearing that they are, I'm hearing they put in split rail, excuse me. I'm just concerned, that we don't have traffic going from that development across our properties to get to the playground and an area across the street. I've already had an officer come to me from Macungie looking to look at my video doorbell, because there had been a robbery in that development, the new development, and he thought that perhaps they walked through our property into the fields, into the new development there. I've had power failures. There's still a wire sticking out back there that they haven't gotten. I'm not sure if someone had some kind of problem with that too. It's just one thing after another. So I'm asking for consideration for the people who have been residents. I know there's a couple here with me today. We did not have a say in that development and how it was formatted. The people who bought those properties knew ahead of time what was expected in that new development. So I'm asking for consideration before you make any kind of decisions on that walking track and fencing, that you take into consideration the privacy and security of the people that are living on the Sequoia Drive area and the cul-de-sac that's also along that property.
I understand your concern. Your time is up. You get 3 minutes. Cal, could you address his concern about the walking trail fence?
Yeah, just to give you a really brief overview, as we sit here today, there's a final land development plan that was approved years ago that requires the installation of the walking path as well as a solid wooden fence on the exterior, a split rail wooden fence on the interior. The developer and the HOA at the Fields of Brookside, as well as the neighboring communities, are working together. That Kay is going to propose a new revised plan based on a lot of the citizen input from the Fields of Brookside residents. 100% they say they have, to remove certain elements and replace wooden fencing with vinyl fencing. They're still developing that plan. So I would suggest speak to the HOA, Fields of Brookside HOA, and discuss your concerns, because it's whatever will ultimately come back from the developer.
And I appreciate that. The thing is, they're worried about what's happening in their development. I didn't buy a home in that development. Our home has been established for well over 40 years that I've been there. Nothing against those people. It's their new development. I can understand that. But if they make a decision that changes the fencing situation, it's not going to protect the people from privacy and or people going across their properties if they put that fence inside instead of outside the track. That's our concern. So I appreciate, I don't know who I'd speak to. Again, I've called numerous places trying to call the builders. It's a ridiculous thing.
Your time is up, but you would have to contact K Builders.
Say again?
K Builders.
Either K Builders or the Fields of Brookside HOA. They're the ones who will be proposing it.
Well, they're the ones who
Not
told me
us.
I had to
It's
come
not
to
us.
the,
It's not us.
The borough is just a reviewing body.
okay, so you're saying K Builders and that development. Okay.
They're HOA, yes.
Hi, I'm Carl Kaiser, and my wife Irene. We're from Lower Macungie Township also. To address what he was just talking about, we were at a meeting here approximately 2 years ago, and we met with the developers from K Builders, and it was decided that night that there would be a 6-foot fence on Sequoia's side and would be board on board. And my wife asked the president at that time, I'm sorry, Mrs. Sullivan, it wasn't you, but she asked the president, how can we know that that's gonna happen? And he repeated, well, because I say so, it's gonna be in the minutes. So I'd like to know if that's addressed here or not, that it's gonna stay that way, or is it gonna
Again,
change?
what,
Because you approved
It's not-
that.
It was approved that way. That's, as of today, that's what they must build, as of today. They have said that they were going to propose a change.
Also, it was supposed to be put up in the spring. My concern is the other development that K Builders is working on keeps getting extensions to get things fixed, like people don't have driveways and the roads aren't right. Are we gonna have the same problem? I mean, how do we get him to do what he needs to do?
you're talking about the right, which,
The builder, K Builders,
that development, K's development,
right,
that builds at Brookside.
right.
That's
And
already,
you have allowed
that's
them,
already in the works
right,
with that list of things that have to be done there.
so what can you hold over them to get it done? Because obviously, in the other development, they're getting extensions one after
What
another.
other development?
Not Narborough.
Not
You must be
Narborough.
speaking of a
No, it's
different,
not- it's not
somewhere
true.
else. Okay.
But I'm speaking of the builder, how he's
Correct.
mentioning.
Yes, they have not gotten an extension from us.
And they will not, I hope. So what you had agreed to 2 years ago with them is still in place. Okay, and if they think they're gonna change it, they have to come back to you and change it. And then how will we know that that's happening?
Keep an eye on our meeting
I guess
agenda.
it'll be in the minutes.
Excuse me?
Keep an eye on the meeting agendas. It'll be on a meeting.
And there was an article after your meeting, the last meeting you had by the council, there was an article in the local paper about, a proposal was put up about them changing their mind and putting vinyl up.
Yeah, and not having.
Where's that at? I mean, who's getting the vinyl and who's not?
That's for them to propose.
That's what?
They need to propose that.
Well, they did.
K Builders.
At your last meeting, they proposed,
They showed some draft maps, but nothing official. They had to go back and figure out exactly what they wanted to do.
okay, because in the paper it said that the new homes would be getting vinyl
No, it didn't say
Instead of-
that.
instead of the, split
you're-
It
rail.
didn't say the new home, it just
Sorry,
said,
your time is
it didn't
up.
say which one.
Your 3 minutes is up.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope we've addressed
Yeah.
what we can for you.
You can get 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
That was different.
Does that proposal have to come to you then? And you have to
Eventually,
approve it?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, they have to go through and approve.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Mr. Fritz?
Dennis Fritz, 32 Lee Street. I want to address your pissing me out in public with Greg Hutchison and me. At the last meeting, at the end of the meeting, I went up to him and I questioned him about him calling the citizens in town clowns. And I don't know if people were sitting here, heard him make his comment about any more clowns having come up to say anything. And I called him out on that. And he got nasty with me. Yes, it got a little, has it really bad between us. But it wasn't just me. He's the one who started. So here again, that's what goes on with some of the people in council. You just make lies all the time. Yeah, we got heated. I'm not gonna argue with that. I admit that. But he started it. I just asked him, I called him out on him calling the people in town clowns. That's it.
That's the bar company for you. Did you hear that?
What?
Did you hear that?
Keep sabotaging.
No, I mean,
Who's next?
no, they run their mouths off all the time.
All right, going row by row. Miss Housey, 4th row.
Just for expediency, My copier broke, so I only have 5 copies.
We'll share.
Yeah, so just kind of who needs it. My name is Terry Buss, 42 North Buttonwood Street, Macungie, PA. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for hearing us. We have been calling the school, calling everywhere about the speeding problem on Buttonwood Street. The study would do nothing because they can see it, and they just slow down. The problem is the school. The problem is Buttonwood Street, North Buttonwood Street and North Fairview Street are the exit and the entrance to the schools, Shoemaker, Eyre, and the elementary, whatever. We need to start holding Lower Macungie and East Penn School District accountable. They fly up the school property. I got them by Stephen and Oscar. I got 2 signs, 15 miles an hour. But half their other signs, it really needs to be addressed. Have the state police patrol the school. It's not the Macungie Police's responsibility to patrol the school. That's Lower Macungie, East Penn School District, and the state police. If they would do that, Buttonwood Street and Fairview Street wouldn't be a nightmare. Start holding people responsible, teachers, employees, parents, and the public, for the safety of their kids, for the safety of our kids, and for the safety of the residents. We're known for being a walking town, and it is not safe. I have been, and not just me, but other people on our street have been given the finger, yelled at. People have backed up 150 feet just to yell at you and say, but I am going the speed limit, or threatened, and it's craziness. I think that was great. Emmaus does a thing where they do, every Tuesday, they do a thing about like the traffic rules. I thought it would be a great thing to do in Macungie if you pick a street, but then enforce it. Have then that street, then have the police ticket people. Because in Valley, once you pay that $90 fine, you never forget that speed limit. And I think that the school districts need to be notified, and by a lawyer, or by not just us, the people on the street. I gave all the information I could possibly come up with, the names and everything, and make it official, and send a letter and say, hey, you gotta let the parents know, the employees, that they need to like slow it down, or turn it to 15 miles an hour while school's going on. But it is not safe, and that's on Fairview Street, and it is the exit to the schools. Exit and the entrance to the school, and that starts within 3 houses of mine. So,
Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Totally agree with you on having the police patrol streets, roaming around this town.
Well, but that's state police territory. It's not fair for Macungie. We don't have enough to handle everything. It'd be great if they picked a street like, I'm so grateful. We were so grateful that you posted that and that somebody heard us, because we've been doing it for a long time. If you picked a street and then just, targeted that street and pulled people over and got people's attention, because nobody's accountable. Nobody's going to do anything.
Okay.
Nobody's going to change. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a big row, I guess.
Good evening, Robert Smigelski, 361 Abbey Road at the Fields at Brookside. 6 years as Scoutmaster downstairs, 7 years as an Assistant Scoutmaster, so I have a love for this community. I moved from Lower Mac 1 mile to Macungie just a year ago. So I know several families here are concerned about what's going on at the Fields at Brookside. I'm not on the HOA, but this morning I got a letter from the HOA saying some stuff that helped council and the public understand. So clearly, to emphasize, Kay is proposing changes based on what the homeowners have come together with. You're going to have to hear the whole thing. They want to get rid of the walking path for sure, and then a whole list of things. Elimination of the entire walking path, an elimination of the board-on-board fencing, elimination of the split rail fencing, eliminating a walking path that cuts through the middle of the community, installing a vinyl privacy fence between the Fields at Brookside and Ancient Oaks West, South. I will correct them, let them know, thank you. These changes were all the items that in the document that my community, all 100% of us, reviewed and signed. Now, these are proposals, like you guys have said, these are proposals that will come forward. So it is being developed. We want our neighbors and us to enjoy a privacy fence, but not something dramatic that was originally proposed. So I think we're all going in the right direction. Looking at the time, I've got plenty of time. In addition, the proposal includes a new walking path to connect our interior walkway. So this is for us. We are a walking community. We like to walk. So we just want a walkway to get out onto Willow Lane. That's also on the list. That has nothing to do with you guys. Right now, this is all in the working stages. Some initial confusion and misunderstandings, I'm reading directly, concerning the location of the vinyl privacy fencing, but it has been resolved. Kay also proposed eliminating 2 connecting paths. That helps me, so I don't have an extra driveway facing my driveway. Preliminary proposal to council is on its way and has met some feedback from council, so this is ongoing and being developed. So I want to let you guys know where we stand. This is a 9:30 a.m. message to the Homeowners Association, to all of us, and to let our neighbors know we don't want to have an ugly-looking situation. We just want everyone to respect privacy. True.
It's what you guys want. Nobody asked our development what we want.
Yes, right. Yeah, and that goes back a number of years, right?
And I thought council could help with that.
I think rather than having a walkway, 2 fences, one is split rail, one is board on board, we want one quality fence that doesn't require a ton of maintenance, which means my homeowner association dues would be a mess, and looking at something that rots over time, I think it's a wise decision.
Yes.
Sorry about that. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Ed Hayhorn, 3077 Sequoia Drive, Macungie Township. In discussing, as you learn more about the fence and as the proposal comes to you, just to be aware, my property had bushes along the property line. Now, when there was a field along the line, as there had been for the 35 years that I owned the property, the bushes had grown past the property line. When Kay got the approval and began doing construction, one of the first things they did is they took a backhoe to the bushes that were overhanging the property line and knocked them down. So that was part of the privacy that I was anticipating, was having my bushes there along the property line. I would have been happy to work with them to, come up with a solution to trim them back over time. They did it the first thing, 2.5 years later. There's been nothing that's been done with the border there because that was going to be the walking paths. So I continue to be concerned about Kay. I was planning to have the privacy fence as originally proposed. I was happy with that. I was less happy with having the damage done to the bushes that were overhanging from my property. But just to be aware that, I look forward to seeing a solution that works for everyone, but, that doesn't allow Kay to take any shortcuts with coming up with a proper solution.
We lost trees to that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Paul Latata, business owner. I just wanted to define what I saw, or I see here as Macungie Volunteer Fire Department of Success. Established in 1907. I've advocated, and I think I speak for many residents and business owners, should be the designated fire department for the borough. I want to read 2 things here quickly. I want to define sabotage. It's the deliberate action to damage, stop, or ruin something. I also want to define obstruction, an object, action, or a state that blocks, hinders, or prevents passage, progress, or the proper working of something. Anybody's going to watch this video tonight, that's exactly what you're going to see. The facts are, the members of this borough council, some, are active on ongoing sabotage of this Macungie Volunteer Fire Department, and it's continued tonight. I think we did have some progress, but it needs to stop. The web of lies
Constantly, the prior fire chief is to blame for not moving forward, and this continues to be a holdup and be used. The borough could have audited the funds provided directly to that fire department. That could have stopped it, regardless of everything else. That's a fact. Follow the money. The funding this borough provides to Lower Macungie Fire Department has created a web of network of barriers to reopening and the success of this volunteer fire department. The concept, I personally am involved in this, personally, financially, everything. I'm not gonna be here either. I'll be here just as a business owner. The comm center won't talk to me. The 911 center won't help to me. The townships won't talk to me. The surrounding fire departments won't talk to me. Threats and litigation, especially Lower Macungie Fire Department. I went to high school with these guys. I know these guys. They won't talk to me. Why? Because you gotta follow the money. It's about 125 grand a year. It's big money. I have the data on this railway that I've presented here that blocks and separates this town. That's more than enough for anyone with common sense of an individual to fully support this volunteer fire department. The proposed liaison committee here of members that are favorable to the success of the volunteer fire department is welcome, and I really hope you consider that partnership. Thank you.
Gentleman in the back.
John Hardeman, 212 West Main Street. Yeah, I'm gonna be really quick. I have no passion, no side one way or as far as the fire department's concerned. But I just don't understand. I understand that there was bad things done, you know, monies, all this business, and evidently a whole lot of anger or a lot of hostilities. But I guess struggle with the fact is, why wouldn't, if we have a resource here, equipment, people, what we need, insurance and all that business, why is it a bad thing? Why wouldn't we just embrace the concept that, hey, there's a resource here that we ought to make use of that and together collaborate that we can again reestablish a very sound and very competent fire department here in the borough like it had been in the past. I don't understand why that isn't a win-win situation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Janet Sell, 101 South Church Street. I took notice today when I was going down Main Street, PP&L put a new pole in just before you get to the diner. Where is the pole? In the middle of the sidewalk. No way can somebody get through there if they come down on a wheelchair. I don't even think you can go side by side, a couple. How could they have put an electrical pole in the middle of a sidewalk? So I think council should take a look at that. I know they have a right of way, but even in their part, they should have looked at that and thought, we can't put this in the middle. And I'm not kidding, it's in the middle of the sidewalk. So I like that being looked at and see if anything can be changed. They didn't take the old pole out. They put the new pole behind the old pole in the middle of the sidewalk. It's on the left-hand side going down Main Street.